Welcome to another episode of Nigerian Kitchen, the tiny Nigerian kitchen. Today I am going to be making suya, which is basically Nigerian grilled meat with a spicy peanut seasoning. That's right, today I am going to be continuing with the small chops / Nigerian street food series with suya. So let's jump in and introduce the ingredients. I will be barbecuing beef today, and the most important part of today's recipe is of course the spice mix, which is really based on peanuts. Now traditionally you would use something called Kuli Kuli, which is ground up peanuts where the oil has been squeezed out and then it's been fried to make a kind of peanut cake. Then that's reground with spices to make that spice mix. I'm going to try and save some steps by not making the Kuli Kuli. I'm actually just going to roast my ground nuts, blend them up with spices directly to make the powder. Now to me, I guess the point of making the Kuli Kuli and using that is that if there's too much oil inside your peanuts, it's really hard to actually make it into a powder. You end up essentially having peanut butter, and we don't want peanut butter. We want it to be a spice blend, not a paste. It's not like the satay in that sense. So I think I can still make a good job of roasting these and managing to ground it into powder without the Kuli Kuli steps. So we're going to save a step today. Today, the spices I will be using are this thing called African pepper or Negro pepper or Senegalese pepper or Ethiopian pepper. You get the idea. It's kind of like black pepper. I got it the last time actually I was in London, so if you can't get hold of this and you want to try this at home, then I guess you can just substitute it in for black pepper. Ooh, it's like really smoky black pepper flavor, and it's actually got a little bit bitter. Definitely it is a distinct taste that does add to the suya pepper, but honestly you can substitute for black pepper and still be okay. Then of course the chili. Suya normally is spicy. Adjust to your own level. Again, it's not a standard recipe. I will be adding chili to the heat level that I like. A little bit of ground garlic, some ground ginger there, and then this is chicken bouillon, so it's just a powdered, in a sense you can use stock cube. Again, this just helps to make the seasoning even more flavorful. If you didn't want to use stock cube, you could use salt. Okay, now when suya is traditionally served up on the roadside, it's normally barbecued, chopped up, put in newspaper with some chopped up onion and tomato wrapped up, and that's what you eat directly. Now I am not a massive fan of raw onion, at least not the aftertaste that's left on your breath of raw onions. So I'm actually going to be doing a quick pickle with the onion in order to take away that harshness, and I'll be using that instead. So that is where we'll start today, straight away with doing a quick pickle of the onion. Okay, so for the pickle, I'm actually going to be using a mix of white vinegar and apple cider vinegar just to make the pickle a little bit more of an interesting flavor. And then I'll be adding to that 100 grams of sugar and about 30 grams of salt, which I will dissolve in a mix of 600 mils of vinegar. So I'll be doing about 300 mils. 300 mils white vinegar, 300 mils apple cider vinegar. Then I'm going to add it into my pot. I should be using a much smaller pot actually, because I don't want this to evaporate too much. I don't have one. And then I'm going to add my salt and sugar, and basically just add enough heat to get the sugar and the salt to dissolve into the vinegar. Now most of that is dissolved, and it's I hardly needed much heat. Woo. Look at that, and we're done. That literally took like 2 minutes. Okay, so I am going to leave that aside now to cool off a little bit. Then I'll chop up the onions, add it together, stick it in the fridge. A few hours later, we will have pickled onions ready to use. Okay, so next step will be to start on our spicy peanut mix, the suya pepper. So I will just be roasting these directly in their shells. Again, I could have saved a lot of time if I picked up already ground roasted nuts out of shells, but this is what I was able to pick up, and it's quite cheap, so we're going to go with these. Okay, so I've already preheated the oven to 180 degrees Celsius. So I'm just going to stick these straight in for about 30 minutes. Okay, peanuts, fresh out of the oven. Ooh, warm peanuts straight out of the oven. delicious. I'm gonna leave these also to cool, and then we'll start making the suya pepper mix. Okay, at this stage, the vinegar mix with the salt and the sugar is ready. So it's nice and cool, so I can get on with now cutting up my raw onions and doing the quick pickle. I have to say, I hate cutting onions. Let's pour the vinegar all over this. Oh my goodness, these are so strong. Cover this with some cling film and we'll stick that in the fridge for a couple of hours, ready to use once meat has been barbecued. Okay, so the peanuts have cooled down, so I'm going to shell these and get the skin off of them, ready to grind. I'm gonna have to resist eating these all before I make it into the spice mix. Okay, I can't say I'm an expert at shelling peanuts, so let me just get these done and I'll see you in a moment. Well, this is fun. Not. I think next time I am definitely going to be buying the already shelled nuts. Roasted if I can, if not then I'll roast those myself, but at least I don't have to spend ages trying to get the shells off. Now, I got this to try and use to tenderize the meat, but I just realized it comes in pretty handy at also bashing in and shelling these nuts. So this should speed things up a little bit. Wow! And we are done. So all the peanuts have been shelled. Okay, so the problem is that if you grind this, you can end up getting peanut butter, and we don't want that. So you do have to be careful when grinding. If you can grind to a powder without the Kuli Kuli step, then I advise to do it, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, so I've got my grinder here. The only things actually that I'm going to be putting in will be the peanuts themselves and some of this African pepper. Everything else then I'll mix in afterwards to suit my taste. How spicy I want it, how much of the chicken bouillon or ground up chicken cubes I want, as well as the ginger and the garlic. All the peanuts in one go. And I'm going to be careful with this, that I just want to blitz. I don't want to go too fast, because then that might actually heat up the contents of the grinder, and heating up might mean that we start getting the fat inside the peanuts smearing, and I don't want to do that because I want to keep it as a powder. Okay, I think we've got our peanut powder. That's good. I'm actually going to add in another one of these pods and blitz it for a little bit longer, and then I'll mix in some of the chili and other spices and flavors. Okay, so that's just about being blitzed. Now I can notice inside is starting to get a little bit warm, and that's where it's going to start getting sticky. So I think if I blended any more than this is where it would start turning into peanut butter. But right now, this is good. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a quick taste. The smokiness of that black African pepper is really coming through. Chili, some of the chicken bouillon, ginger, and some garlic. Let's see what this is like once we've mixed all together. Oh, wow. It's so funny. I think instantly transformed by adding some of that chicken stock or the chicken bouillon in. And obviously, oh, now there's a little kick from the spice, from the chili. This is so good. I'm gonna put in a little bit more chili actually, and even a tiny bit more of the bouillon and ginger. So the only thing left to do now is to get our meat ready for the barbecue. Okay, so now it's time to deal with the meat itself, and I've got here some beef. Now, when I've eaten suya in the past on the roadside in Nigeria, it's always quite flat meat. I guess you can cook that really quickly on the barbecue, add the spice, wrap it up and give it to the customers. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to get it really flat here with the tenderizer. Let's bash some meat. Woo! Okay, so this is being bashed pretty flat, and hopefully I've done a good job of really pulling apart a lot of those long fibres that are running through the meat. It should be certainly a lot more tender once it's cooked than if I'd cooked it straight from the size that it was before without cutting it up or bashing it. So let's do the other pieces, and then we're going to fire up the barbecue. Okay, so I've just grilled my beef upstairs on the rooftop. Now it is time to finish dressing this bad boy and taste. So I'm going to try and slice pretty thinly and go against the grain. Try and keep the meat tender. It's actually quite a cheap cut of beef, but I don't think that the roadside Suya spots in Lagos are using sirloin either, so this should do just the trick. Okay, so the beef has been cut up. Now I sprinkle on top my Suya pepper. Okay, and then I'm gonna chop up a little bit tomato and chop up some of my pickled onions. Let's mix this together. And now to taste. That Suya pepper is the bomb. In fact, I think I'm gonna even put a little bit more on top. As I said, Nigerians, we love flavour, so we want to coat liberally. Now I'm going to try a little bit with the pickled onions and the tomato. Wow, that works so well. The only thing I'll say is I wish the beef was a little bit more tender. It's still quite tough, so maybe, again, I could have tried to tenderize it, maybe sous vide it first before I put it on the barbecue. But overall, flavour-wise, this is really good Suya. Suya, 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 Suya. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Hi, sister.
Are you all right?
Yes, sister.
I'm your nurse, not a nun. You can call me Mandy.
Yes, Sister Mandy. Sister Mandy, can you make me some more of that binging with barbeque ratatouille that you made me yesterday?
I'm still your nurse and not your cook. Even so, there's no more left.
Don't you know who I am? I am Prince Islasis Uslasis.
Okay, I'll add an extra 0 onto your salary.
You are a charmer. I suppose I was going to cook up some Korean fried chicken. I'll make some extra for you.
God bless you. God bless you. Sister Mandy, can you pass me my phone? Have you seen this channel?
Nigeriankitchen? No, it's no tasty, but it looks all right.
It's a pile of dog. The boy doesn't know what he's doing. The sour cream episode was terrible. Don't get me started on the Suya episode. He butchered it. He doesn't even know how to use Kuli Kuli properly to make Suya pepper.
Why are you telling me this?
He replied to my email yesterday and sent me money to my account.
Another one falling for your 419 fraud.
Another one that's paying for your salary. Anyway, I only have 1 week left to live on this earth. I was thinking of sending him some money.
I'm so proud of you.
Why?
You've spent your entire life conning people and now you're finally going to give back to the world.
No, I just couldn't stand the thought that I'll be gone in a week and this boy will still be there slandering the good name of Nigerians and their cuisine. It's a travesty. So it was either cancel him or send him money to go to catering school.
Well, I'm glad you decided not to kill the boy.
What do you think I am? I'm not savage, Sister Mandy. Cancel him, not kill him.
I was thinking of sending some made-up story about illicit affairs he's had to those drama channels But then I fear it would actually make his dead channel actually popular. So sending money it was. Anyway, my accountant is down in reception. Can you collect him for me?
Of course. But you remember that extra zero on my salary, huh?
I should get some new kicks. Hey, thank you, Mr. Uslasis. Sorry, Prince Uslasis.